What's up, y'all? It's your man dS.TheInformed. It's been a long time since I've done a video. Been quite a while actually. Uh, um, this video is kind of out of nowhere, but it's kind of, in some of a sense, a response to this whole Jay-Z controversy. Now, in reality, this really has nothing to do with Jay-Z. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Jay-Z controversy is going on around the fact that he was seen at a game, at a basketball game, wearing a medallion. And on the medallion, it was brandishing the symbol or the logo of the 5% Nation, or the Nation of 5%ers. And I'm making sure, I'm not sure exactly sure if I'm saying that right, and I don't want anybody to hold me to the way that I'm saying that. But the whole point is that I got into was, they have there's such a negative view of these individuals, of their organization, and people have a great problem with it. Now, the real reason why I wanted to point to this is because as long as black people are doing things that uphold this white standard, or this European American standard, Euro American standard, there's not an issue. But as soon as something, especially a celebrity, as soon as a celebrity or somebody's in a public eye that we as black people are going to look up to, do something that shakes that foundation, regardless of why we personally do it, it's the perception that it gives off. And that if it challenges what they feel should be given, then it becomes a very large issue. Now, if Jay-Z was to be wearing a cross, let's say, well, my personal opinion about that, of course, is obvious or whatever, but the fact of the matter is, if he was wearing the cross, nobody would have said anything. No one cares. Rappers, athletes, entertainers, these public eye figures and these celebrities all sometime or another have worn some type of cross around their neck, some crucifixion or some representation of Christianity around their neck. And there's been some backlash, but there's never really been a controversy around it. Nobody cares. 8, 9 crosses around their neck, crosses everywhere, earrings, everything, tattoos. Nobody cares. Nobody says a thing. But all of a sudden, Jay-Z goes to wear the 5% Nation logo or the emblem, and now there's a problem. There's this controversy because of the negativity surrounding them, as if there's such a great positivity surrounding many other things, right? Again, all of that really to go to the point of black people and God. Now, for a millennia, we can even go back to Africa and speak about the Arabic slave trade dealing with Africans, all the way up to today, during the 400 odd years or so, dealing with the transatlantic slave trade and the slavery here in slavery here in America, and leading up to modern day, dealing with black people here on this rock. And black people have not seen ourselves in the image of God, or not seen God in the image of ourselves, for a fairly long time. And it's been okay with everybody. That's always been fine. You go to churches, Jesus is white. You look in all the books, all the picture books, all the things like that surrounding God, more specifically the Christian God, whether you're talking about Catholic or in some form of Protestant religion or form of Christianity, and God is white. Jesus is white. The angels, white. Everything, white. White folk, Caucasian. And it's okay. It's okay. You go to a person's house and they have up a Last Supper. It's okay for Jesus and the 12 disciples all to be white. That's fine. But you go to a person's house and they have up a Last Supper and all of Jesus and his apostles are black. You question it. Yo, especially if it's a black person. Yo, why you got the black person? Like, why can't I have the black person? Why can't I have a black Jesus? Is that wrong? You know, and you're made to feel guilty for it. Black people are made to feel guilty because we want to serve a God, and we want to view a God. We want to view ourselves in the image of something that looks like us. We're wrong for that. We're improper. It's race. It's reverse racism. How the hell is that possible? But it's reverse racism. You know, it's almost blasphemy. Like, people will lose their mind if you have a black Jesus on your wall. Even black people. You go to black churches, they have a white Jesus hanging on the wall. Long hair, the blue eyes, everything, all just completely white features. And though everybody can agree Jesus wasn't a white man at all, historians can tell you that, based solely on the region in which he was born, he would not be a white man. He might not be necessarily as dark as I am, but he's not what you would consider a European individual. Put it that way. He would not look like Europeans of past nor present. That's just a given. But it amazes me because as soon as we want to identify ourselves with God, or as God, or as having this spiritual direct connection with God, and not even necessarily say that we are gods. Like, we are gods. We have this ultimate divine power, the dominant, not even on that level, but just to have that direct connection, like, this is God, we are connected to God. And not having to do it through some European standard or some standard that someone else created, but on our own standards. We are now wrong. But as long as we're doing it somebody else's way, it's okay. Even when we get black people who have come to utilize the Bible, who have read the Bible and taken their own twist and their spin on the Bible, and have now come to an interpretation of the Bible to see that the black man in America, the black man, woman, and child in America, are actually referred to in the Bible, and our trials and tribulations and our history in this country actually are directly talked about in the Bible. And now that we use that, there's an issue. Because when the KKK used Christianity to justify killing off black people and feeling the way they felt about us, it was okay. When white people, the Europeans, utilized Christianity, utilizing the Bible as a tool of slavery, a tool to promote slavery and promote and justify the reasonings that they had for killing off the black man, for hurting us, for the mass genocide that they committed over hundreds of years. Now, that's okay. It's okay for black people to still read the Bible in the mindset that's been passed down to them with this enslaved mentality. That's fine. But when we read the Bible and we have one of our own interpreted and come out with something that promotes a positivity and a strong and a sense of willing and urgency and strength and pride and power in the black man, now it's a problem. And if you don't know who I'm talking about the Hebrew Israelites. The black Hebrew Israelites, and I just say black to make the point, have had someone interpret the Bible and seen that the 12 tribes of Israel are indeed, and it's been done way before, but I'm talking about the way they're using it now, are indeed the black man, the Native American men, what you consider maybe the Hispanic people. Their trials are written throughout the Bible, and they've interpreted that, and they said that that's us. Yes, they may come off as racist, but hey, again, when the Europeans were doing it, and their European ancestors, even till today, when they're using the Bible as this tool of enslavement and depression and oppression of a people, promoting mass genocides and justifying it all through the Bible, it's okay. But when we connect ourselves to God and being God-like, God body, God mind, and God spirited. When we connect ourselves in that nature, the exact same nature in which they fashioned themselves to, we are wrong. We're ignorant. We're practicing racism and hatred. And we're hate mongers and warmongers. And we just want to be. What is it? Like, why is that? Now, there are a select few people who recognize the ignorance in all circles. And therefore, they should not be offended by this video. You should not see this video. You should not view this video and feel some type of way, because you as an individual see things as a wrong regardless of who does it. If a man rapes a woman, regardless of race, creed, religion, anything is wrong. It's not a problem. If a cop kills an innocent civilian, regardless of race, you see it as wrong. You don't feel more one way than the other. There are people out there that are like that. So if you're one of them and you're viewing this video, don't feel some type of way, because this is not about you. But if you are watching this video and you do feel some deep type of way about that, ask yourself why. Why is it that I can't get up in the morning, stretch yawn, put both feet on the floor, go in the bathroom and look in the mirror and see God when I look in the mirror? Peace, God. I see myself, but I see the embodiment of something much greater than I can ever put my hands on. It's intangible. It's a greatness that lies only within, that can come out and be experienced, but I can never actually put my hands on. Why is that such a bad thing? Why? As long as I'm not teaching hate, as long as I'm not trying to promote violence towards other individuals, with the exception of self-defense, let's get that straight. Because a lot of people, and I see this too, a lot of people fear these black ideologies because you understand that the nature of karma is a bitch. Excuse me, that's the only way to say it. You understand that based on realities, the fact of the matter that there's been so much damage done that sooner or later it has to explode, and when it does, a lot of people are going to be victims of crimes they did not commit. They're going to be victims of retaliations that they had nothing to do with, the actions that caused them in the first place. You understand that. And I know it's a scary thought, but the fact of the matter is, you have to ask yourself, what are you doing in the process? Because I've always learned and I've always been taught that a bystander of injustice is just as wrong as the aggressor of it. So if you see somebody being beat up on and bullied on, and you just stand by and watch it, you're just as bad as the person doing it. Matter of fact, you're worse, because you allow it to happen. You sit there, you watch, and you take it in, and you see it happening, but you do nothing about it. You're worse than the person that's doing it. And being that most black ideologies that connect us to God does talk about a fact that there will be a retribution where God wouldn't come, whether you want to take it as some spirit that comes and destroys, or whether there's an embodiment of that spirit into us and we will go forth and destroy. Our ideologies say that that's going to happen, but so do the ideologies of everybody else. When you do wrong by God, God will punish. Well, if we understand ourselves and see ourselves in the light and the image and the spirit of God, then therefore the wrong that has been done by us is punishable. And retribution will be had. And that scares a lot of people because they understand that type of power. It's scary to them. And I can go very deep into the history of slavery just here in this country alone, in which the Bible was utilized as a slave tool, and the masters made sure that only white preachers were allowed to preach. Because they didn't want black people to read the whole Bible. They didn't want them to understand Exodus and what was going on. And they didn't want them to understand about the fact that they had powers to fight back. And even when there was a black preacher, it had to be a white man there to monitor him to make sure that he wasn't teaching anything that could promote such things. And I'm just using a black and white example because that's a large based history of this country. But that goes from any state of mind, any form of mind. When any oppressed people find themselves in the light of God, there's a problem with it, period. When the oppressor is challenged, of course there's going to be an issue. It's obvious. But I always said, I wonder why. You say, you go along with the status quo, it's cool. As soon as you say, oh, Jesus is black, how could you say that? You know? So at the end of the day, I'm just throwing this out there. This video is carrying on longer than I wanted it to. But I just find it interesting all the way back to the whole Jay-Z thing is that as long as Jay-Z wore a cross and was perpetuating this status quo that represented this form of Christianity, everything was okay. Everything would be cool. But as soon as his rap lyrics changed up a little bit, Jay-Z started dropping little dimes here and there and everything like that. Because Jay-Z ain't no fool. He's not a fool. He's a very smart man, very business savvy individual. As soon as that started happening and you see this emblem that represents a people that does not agree with what's going on, now it's controversial. It's controversial now. Why? You know? But anyway, y'all put it in your minds and let that float around a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I'm dS.TheInformed. You all have a blessed week. Peace.